Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to streamline complex info and bring you the insights that really matter. So today we're diving into the life and, well, the career of Cathy Ménard. She became this really celebrated figure in a very specific time in French film. Now, for this, we've dug into quite a few sources where, various online film databases, encyclopedic entries. Specifically, we looked at Unifrance, Wikipedia, TV Guide, MUBI, the movie database, Notre Cinema as well. Yeah, quite a range. Our mission really is to piece together her story. We want to pull out the most important bits about her professional life. And honestly, we found some pretty unexpected things. Her real name, for instance, her very unique acting niche, and just how many films she was actually in. Okay, let's unpack that.
All right. So, first off, her actual birth name wasn't Cathy Ménard. It was Danielle Marie Yvonne Guégo.
Yeah.
Though you might also see Danielle Guégard listed in some places.
Right.
Just to keep things interesting.
Right.
She was born June 17th, 1954 in France. And sadly, she passed away fairly recently, May 1st, 2022. She was 67.
Wow, okay. So, Danielle Guégo, or Guégard. But professionally, overwhelmingly, she was Cathy Ménard. And definitely French. Yeah, that seems consistent everywhere.
Absolutely. French nationality. But what's fascinating, you touched on this, is the list of other names she used. It's quite something. We've got Danny Gio, Cathy Ménard, slightly different spelling there, Cathy Ménard, Sylvia Serrano, Danielle Guégo, Danielle Guégard, even Danielle Sodrun.
Danielle Sodrun, really? That's quite a mix.
It is. And, it makes tracking her work a bit complex, but it also maybe tells you something about the era, right? About performers wanting maybe some separation between their work and private life or navigating public perception, especially in the genre she worked in.
That makes a lot of sense. It was a different landscape. So her main job, clearly, actress. Unifrance specifically calls her an actress in cinema, and the movie database actually categorizes her as an adult actor.
Exactly. And her main period of activity, it seems, was quite concentrated, predominantly 1980 to 1985. And this time frame puts her right in what many call the golden age of porn in France.
The golden age, right. What defined that era, briefly?
Well, often you saw maybe higher production values compared to later stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes more focus on narrative. Occasionally blurring lines with sort of mainstream cinema aesthetics.
Yeah.
This is mostly before the big shift to home video changed everything. And she's really considered one of the most celebrated actresses of that specific time.
Okay, but here's where I think it gets really interesting. Her specialization. The sources mention she was known for playing virtuous and frigid bourgeois characters. That seems quite specific for the genre.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what made her stand out. The sources repeatedly mentioned she brought a certain elegance to these roles.
Elegance in those roles.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a footnote. It's highlighted as key to her appeal.
Right.
It suggests maybe a kind of sophisticated detachment, which was likely quite different from the usual stereotypes of the genre back then.
Yeah.
It probably, appealed to a certain audience or maybe even gave the films a different kind of feel.
Interesting. So this elegance, was it something she consciously cultivated, do we think, or more something directors latched onto?
The sources don't spell out her exact intentions, but the fact she played these roles so consistently suggests it became her trademark. Directors clearly sought her out for that specific quality. And her career was, well, incredibly prolific.
Prolific is right. The film counts vary, don't they?
They do. Wikipedia mentions 52 films. TMDb lists 42 known credits. That difference itself is kind of telling. It points to how film production in certain niches could be informal back then. Credits weren't always perfect, making exact filmographies really hard to nail down definitively.
Right. And she wasn't just working in a vacuum. She was involved with some significant production houses.
Definitely. Alpha France, Videomark Dorsel, these were major players.
Yeah.
And she worked across borders, too, with French, Italian, and German production companies. She was quite visible on the European scene.
So who are the key directors she worked with during this 1980-85 period?
Well, several prominent names from that era of French adult cinema pop up.
Yeah.
Gerard Kikoin is a big one. He directed her in what's often cited as her first major role, Bourgeois, back in '81.
Okay.
And apparently, he liked what he saw, because he cast her in 4 more films after that.
4 more. Wow.
Yeah. Then there's Jay Helby, whose real name was Jean-Luc Brunet. He directed her in 4 films, too, including Les Culottes de Charlotte in '82.
Right.
And another really key name is Claude Bernard Aubert. He sometimes used the pseudonym Bird Tranberry.
Oh, interesting. A pseudonym for a director, too.
Yeah, not uncommon, especially if they also worked in more mainstream cinema. Bernardo Aubert directed her in Chambre d'amis très particulière in 83, but maybe more importantly, he gave her what's described as her most refined or even most cult role in L'Initiation d'une femme mariée, also from 1983. That one even got distributed in Italy as Iniziazioni.
Her most refined role that ties back into the elegance thing.
Exactly. And there were others early on, too, like Michel Barney and Michel Baudricourt, who apparently directed her right at the start, around 1980. Films like Au Caprice des Dames and Ragazine and Color.
So with directors like Kikoin, Helby, Bernardo Baer, it's no wonder her filmography is so packed. What are some other titles that stand out?
Well, across the sources, you see mentions of films like Adolescent Trop Curieux from 82, Les Faux Nuits de Nathalie, also 82. There's L'Inconnu, listed sometimes at 81, sometimes 82. Attention Filette from 81. La Prof ou Le Plaisir Défendu, 81 or 82 again.
Okay, lots from the early 80s.
Very much so. Also Patricia, 81. And then later, she actually appeared in Emmanuel 4 in 1984.
Emmanuel, okay, that's a pretty big title.
Yeah, it shows her reach.
Yeah.
Other titles floating around are Saint-Tropez, Young, Wild and Crazy, Derrière de Miroir Santin, Diamond Snatch, Julie Ladouce. The list goes on.
And it wasn't just movies, right? You mentioned something else.
That's right. Her image wasn't confined to the screen. She was also featured in super sex photo novels, which, really broadened her visibility and cemented her status as a recognizable face from that era beyond just the film audiences.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What's the main takeaway here? We have Cathy Ménard, born Danielle Guego, an actress working under several names who really carved out this very specific, very celebrated niche in France during the early 80s, the golden age of porn. And that niche was playing these virtuous and frigid bourgeois types, but with this distinct elegance that made her stand out.
Exactly. I think it really highlights how a specific performance style, maybe even a counterintuitive one for the genre, can define a career. She wasn't just, a generic performer. She was known for these specific characterizations, and that reputation carried across different countries' productions too, French, Italian, German.
That's a really key insight. Her style became her signature. So for you listening, here's something to maybe chew on. Think about how Cathy Ménard's very specific portrayal, that mix of virtuous bourgeois and elegance, didn't just exist within the golden age of porn, but how it might have actually influenced or perhaps challenged the tastes and expectations of the genre at the time. It really shows, I think, the kind of diverse nuances you can find in performance, no matter what the cinematic context is.